Now, in Sierra Leone, a court on Saturday upheld a request for an injunction by a ruling party member who said there was evidence of electoral fraud that needed to be investigated before the poll could go ahead. Opposition leader Julius Maada Bio, who was briefly the head of the military junta in the 1990s, had been meant to face off against the ruling All People's Congress candidate, ex-foreign minister Samura Kamara, on Tuesday, March 27th, and that will not hold any longer. We are told from the court ruling he won the first round of a presidential election held on March 7th, a poll that was described by many as largely peaceful.
I recall that in the first round of elections, with 43.3% against 42.7% of the vote, Julius Maada Bio, candidate of the SLPP main opposition party, got a short lead over Samura Kamara of the APC, with participation reaching the exceptional level of over 84%. Despite acts of violence and intimidation towards politicians and activists, foreign observer missions and civil societies, in particular that of the European Union, welcomed the successful conduct of the polls, which combined the presidential, legislative and local elections. This explains in part why the suspension of the second round by the High Court is not entirely unanimous. Elvis Bo gives us more details.
An order from Sierra Leone's High Court requesting the National Electoral Commission to put a brake on the country's March 27 electoral runoff has been criticized by the opposition. The ruling party filed a complaint contesting alleged electoral malpractices during the first round. Their members breathed a sigh of relief after the verdict. Their candidate Samura Kamara believes the decision will pave the way for the electoral body to clarify the irregularities of the March 7 elections before the second round. The opposition has contested the measure and see in it a deliberate ploy by President Ernest Bai Koroma to illegally extend his mandate. The court's order stops the electoral body from proceeding with the vote until the hearing and determination of the court, expected to hold on Monday, the eve of the planned runoff. Sierra Leoneans are mobilizing to choose a new leader in a runoff, with opposition strongman Maada Bio facing ruling party candidate Samura Kamara.
Eric Kawa is our correspondent in Sierra Leone. He joins us now live from Freetown. Eric, good morning, Eric, and welcome to the program.
Yeah, good morning, Jerry.
So, Eric, there won't be a runoff election tomorrow after this weekend's ruling. But really, what evidence is the ruling party APC basing its accusations of electoral fraud on? Have any details emerged?
Well, this came after an announcement of results for the first round of Sierra Leone's general elections. Members of the ruling party released a press statement accusing the National Electoral Commission of widespread irregularities, including overvoting and some polling stations, also duplication of reconciliation result forms, RRFs, ballot stuffing, voiding of ballots by NEC officials, and allegations of certain NEC staff whom they said mobilized tally reviewing officers to input false results at the NEC tally center. However, many question why is the ruling party crying foul when they are at the helm of affairs. But as of now, we can't tell whether the elections will be held tomorrow, because until the ruling after today, that would determine whether the elections, the result will take place tomorrow or not.
Okay, so you just made it clear there that we can't tell yet. Well, Eric, there had been a dispute between the police and the Election Commission. Could this have tampered in any way with the process of holding the runoff?
Okay, well, I would say I'll give a yes and a no to this answer, considering the fact that the National Electoral Commission has earlier this week released a statement accusing the Sierra Leone police of intimidating its staff, hence disrupting their activities as the country heads for the runoff. These were, however, debunked by the Sierra Leone police, noting that they were only investigating 200 election-related crimes involving some NEC staff. The Sierra Leone police further stated that they had requested for the executive secretary of the National Electoral Commission to be investigated by the Criminal Investigations Department, which is the CID, but he couldn't show up. So looking at the Supreme Court interim injunction filed by a legal practitioner who is also a member of the ruling APC party, one there are similarities, especially when Sierra Leone the Sierra Leone police is also investigating some next staff on allegations of widespread of irregularities in the system.
APC, the ruling party, that is, their supporters seemed delighted with this new situation. Some were jubilant on Thursday when the court made the ruling. But what does this mean for the candidate competing to replace President Bai Koroma?
Well, somewhere, though majority of Sierra Leoneans want to see the runoff conducted on the stipulated date, which is March 27th, the interim injunction seems to have left people in dilemma. And civil society members in a meeting held yesterday with Women's Situation Room, observers and the media called on the High Court to organize the election on the set date and called on all Sierra Leoneans to remain calm and maintain the peace whilst we await the hearing of the matter later today. Further, there have been concerns of voter apathy, even if there will be the election runoff, even if it will be held tomorrow. There are concerns of voter apathy. The main opposition, Sierra Leone People's Party, however, organized a press briefing yesterday as well, in which they made their position in reaction to the injunction, where they stated that they consider the actions as part of a plan designed to prolong the governance of the ruling APC regime by provoking large-scale violence and ethnic cleansing against their party supporters in order to provide an excuse to declare a state of emergency by President Koroma and provide platform to dismiss and replace members of the National Electoral Commission. They further stated in the press statement that all their supporters, they call on all their supporters to remain calm and peaceful. However, until the runoff election is held, Sierra Leoneans are still in a state of fear, and all sectors like education, business are largely affected.
Eric, indeed something that many do not want to see there, hoping that the process there will go smoothly and be concluded peacefully in the interest of Sierra Leoneans. Eric, thank you very much for joining us on the program this morning. Eric.
Yeah, thank you so much. You're welcome.
And we will continue to monitor and bring you the very latest there from Sierra Leone in its process to elect a successor to President Bai Koroma. You are watching The Morning Call right here on Africa News. We'd love to engage with you in these and other stories that we bring to you every day. Tweet at us at Africa News and at Africa News FR in French and share your stories with us. And for the very latest news stories as they break on the continent and elsewhere, please visit www.africanews.com. Still to come on the program. Nigeria may not be a nation of many coffee drinkers, but a painter has found a way to unite his passion for coffee with his art. We tell you about the Nigerian artist using coffee to express himself. This and more after the break.